Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Mand. I am so super excited. I want to say a huge thank you to Christy over at Green Eyed Tarot. I believe that's her YouTube page. I will link all of this below, for tagging me in the hashtag 54321 tarot tag. I'm so excited. I've been watching loads of people do it and I was like, oh, I'd really love to do this. So thank you so much. Honestly, I appreciate it, and I love Christy's channel, so go check her out. It's amazing, this YouTube community that we have created, the tarot community, because Christy is over in America, I believe. So it's amazing to connect with just so many different people and just to bond over our passion of decks and things like that. I love that. But this tag is originally done by Kelly Brow. I'll link her original video and all that in the description box below. So let's get into the video, because I feel like it's going to be kind of a long one. So for those of you that are watching and you may not have seen the tag, it's 54321, as I said at the start. So it's 5 tarot decks, 4 guidebooks, or 4 books, sorry, not even just guidebooks, tarot books, 3 spreads, 2 tools or things that you use within your practice, and 1 card that like embodies you, something along those lines, I believe. But that's the one that I kind of was picking, is the 1 card that kind of I aspire to be, would say, in life, and what I like to take on, the characteristics and things like that, if you want to say it. So I would say grab a drink and a snack, because it's probably going to be a bit of a long one. And I did actually stick to all tarot. I didn't include oracle or anything like that. But it would be so cool if we could do an oracle one, because you all know I absolutely adore oracle cards. So that would be a cool one if, you know, the community would be down for doing that, like in the future. Maybe, possibly. So without further ado, so let's get into the 5 decks that like I just love. I absolutely adore these decks. It was really hard to pick 5 decks, to be brutally honest with you. Okay, so starting from the top of my pile of decks here, I have a Divine Feminine. This is a Kokorina tarot deck. Hello. And this is the Nocturnal one. I know you can get it in black and white as well. As you can see, I have a beautiful piece of tiger's eye. I'm really sorry if the lighting is kind of rubbish. I normally film during the day, but I am heading away on holiday soon, and I want to make sure that I have enough content. And as you've probably seen, if you've seen my community post, by the time this is up, you've probably seen the videos. I had some issues with videos that were supposed to be scheduled that went public. So yeah, that's that. So this is the Divine Feminine, or is it the, no, Divine Feminine. I adore this deck. I don't talk about it. Can't even talk now. Don't talk about it a whole pile anymore. I don't know why, because I love this deck. As you can see, it is truly loved. It's completely battered at this stage. My wonderful fiance, I'm still getting used to saying that, bought it for me for my birthday a few years back. It wasn't a deck that I don't remember mentioning it in. He actually seen it on one of our holistic shops, and as you know, in Ireland it's quite difficult to get indie decks, so it was great that he could get it without it costing him a complete arm and a leg. But I absolutely love this deck. This is, for me, very much the deck that I turn to when I'm doing full moon, new moon readings. It's so simple. It's so to the point. I love the messages I get off this. This is just gorgeous. I love the gold. It's kind of fading a little bit on me, but I do use this. This is very much a working deck for me. So it's, you know, it's well worn in, but I love the messages that I receive from this deck. It's very celestial for me, so hence why I use it for the whole new moon, full moon readings and things like that. I really do feel that it's kind of your 6th and 7th chakra. I feel that that's really connected, and of course I love that whole pure divine feminine. So I very much flow in with that intuition and flowing with that softer, more intuitive, nurturing side of me, because I feel as a society, you know, us women tend to, especially, you know, when you're trying to get everything done, you lean more into that masculine, get it done energy, right? So when I'm trying to slow down, this is such a great deck because it's not overwhelming me with too much imagery, enough to get my intuition going, but not too much that I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. That it's kind of like you just sit with it, you meditate with it, you just embrace the complete nurturing, caring aspect of this deck. It's a fabulous deck to work with, and I so highly recommend it. The fourth one, there's no real particular order actually, to be honest. It's not like from least favorite to favorite. I love all of my decks. Is the Starman Tarot. This is the limited edition one. It's the huge one. This one, as I've mentioned several times, is impossible. It's just, oh yeah, and of course I have a crystal in it. So maybe for those of you that want to know, it's a Unakite. I'm hoping this will focus. Yeah. I love this. I just felt that Unakite just works kind of with this deck. This is such a strange and wonderful, weird, eclectic deck. It's so odd. It's peculiar. It is weird. It is not a deck if I was to see it myself. See, it wasn't a deck that I bought myself, nor had on a wish list or anything. Oh, no, I think it might have been. Anyway, that's not the point. I love this. I wouldn't probably have actively chose it, right? And I really feel it's wonderful when people give you gifts of tarot decks or oracle decks, and sometimes it works, yes, and sometimes it doesn't, but it really pushes you out of the comfort zone, because people will always view us differently to how we view ourselves or how we believe our own aesthetics to be, right? So I really feel like this is not a deck I would have chosen for myself, right? So I mean, yeah, here's me going, this might be the way people view you, very odd in it, unusual, and which would be to some extent a correct assumption about me. You know, I'm like, not everyone is into what I'm into. I don't know many people around here within my own town that are into this kind of stuff, so and I make no apologies for that, and I hold that title very proudly. I don't mind being the one that's into the woo-woo stuff and the odd and eclectic and unusual way of being. I love this Empress card because I love the way the pink pops in this. It's so gorgeous. But I just love the way this is such an odd deck. It's very unusual. It's not for everyone. But I love working with this. The readings are always on point. So on point with this. And I just... See, this is the thing with these videos. I want to work with all my decks. And I love the symbolism in it, and how you could sit with this. The big cards are great in that sense because you can really see it, right? It's nearly like an art form. It is an art form. It's not even. It is an art form, but you can see it more up close. That's kind of more zoomed in, I suppose you could say. So that is the Starman Tarot. The next one is the Pastoral Tarot by Lynn. I'm not even going to garter her last name. And Lisa Hunt. Oh my god, I love this. Guidebook is smashing. It's not one of my three, first of all. Okay. But I'm just saying, the guidebook is really good. Okay. Can it be an honourable mention? Am I allowed to do that? Am I breaking rules already? Oh my gosh. Here's me going, no, I'm definitely sticking. I'm sticking with kind of how it goes and whatnot. But this deck is very strange as well. It's, well, not strange, it's very unusual, for the reason being is all the cards are landscape, which you don't see very often with tarot decks. It's not really kind of the done thing, but I love this deck. The layout of the cards doesn't particularly bother me, by no means. I know it might be for some people, excuse me. But I don't mind it one bit. I absolutely love the way the cards are laid out, and I really feel this is so perfect for like every day, right? We can all relate. It's a very relatable deck. So this is kind of my really kick you in the ass kind of a deck as such, but it's relatable to me because I really feel it in one way embodies the life I want and the life that I live, because I live in the country, right? So I don't live in a city, and I don't live in a build-up area or anything like that. I live in the country, so it's nice to have these kind of decks that pretty much embody where I live in Ireland, right? I kind of live it's not a very quiet countryside, but it is the countryside. You know, my mom has chickens, we've laying hens, and you know, there's cows in the field in the summer and things like that, and we get to see the stars because, you know, we're not lived in a built up area. So it really pictures or paints a beautiful picture of, I'm hoping you can see it, and I'm not just showing half the deck. Hold on, let me yeah, let me do it this way. Kind of not so much the lifestyle I live, but the lifestyle I would love to live. So I realize I've talked enough about this. So this is gorgeous. Okay, I don't want to live this life, but you know what I mean. And the cats, we have cats too. you know, I had to mention this. I was not going to do this tag without mentioning, my all-time favorite deck. I'm biased when it comes to this deck. I'm completely biased, and I will happily admit that. This is just one of my favorite all-year-round decks as well. It's really kind of more the fantasy world in one sense that I would like to live in, but I just love this. This is such a straight up front deck for me. Okay, it is honest, it's real, it's raw. It doesn't sugarcoat nothing for me, but it really feels like my home deck. If I am struggling to connect with decks and, you know, with rotating decks and things like that, or wanting to work with other ones, this is the deck that I will turn to kind of get me back on that track, because it reminds me why I love tarot and why I love using it within my practice. And I truly love this deck because it's everything. I don't have any complaints about this deck, and I will always. It just has this soul connection. It's the most difficult thing I find hard to explain, because on such a deep personal level, this deck means so much to me and then some. So I don't know how to explain that one, but I mean, you can see by the artwork why I love it so much. I mean, even this tower card, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it. Bring the change, you know. So I love. Okay, I'm gonna end on this one because it's lovely. And the last one on the 5 tarot decks is the Tower of Witches Garden. I, of course, had to mention this. Again, another wonderful guidebook, just to loosely mention that. I'm breaking all the rules now, so, you know, I'm just going to go with it now, aren't I? A lot of people are comparing this to the Green Witch Tarot, but I would say it has a different energy. Is it similar? I suppose yes. But first of all, you have the linen, the linen cardstock. This is the one with the, what's the word I'm looking for? The mix-up, the changing cards. So this hasn't. But I do enjoy this deck all the same. There's something, again, very earthy, but more kind of along the lines of cartoons, I suppose. And I just love the way the depictions in it, and the guidebook goes beautifully with this. So the messages are, again, very homey, very earthy, and I love the incorporations of fairy and the animals, and it's just an all-round, again, another earthy deck that I like to work with when I'm struggling to connect with other decks. But I feel like this has kind of a beautiful blend of animals and humans and like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Fairies and elementals and things like that. So that is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. So the next prompt on this one is 4 books. So I have 2 guidebooks. Yes, and 2 just kind of reading books. No, not novels. Like tarot books, right? So the first one I want to mention are actually from the 2 decks that I mentioned, and this one is Divine Feminine. I love this guidebook because it's just keyword, little blurb, and then your description. I can't fault this. I truly love this guidebook. I really feel for beginners, like, gives enough information. It's a beautiful size, so if you want to pop this in your bag, if you're traveling and things like that, it's fantastic. I just seen there that it gives like about the pentacles, okay, so then your minor arcana. So there's not much more I can say about this. This is truly a beautiful, oh yeah, I was like, what's that? I have the little card on the inside of it. This is just a brilliant guidebook to have, for sure. And of course, I have to mention Green Witch, the Tarot Companion. This is a fab. First of all, it's a Llewellyn book, so you know it's going to be chock full of information. You have other books by Anne Mora, and then it gets into the contents. And what I really love about this guidebook is not only do you have space for notes if you like to write in it, but right, you have your card, then you have all your information. But there's so much in it because obviously it connects to a very pagan way. So it connects with the Sabbats and the gods and goddesses, more of the pagan. But you also have the meaning, prompt words. And then she also incorporates like, oh, here we go. Sorry, I bypassed it. The herbs, what they mean and what, like, maybe the animals mean, like wheat fields and ripened grain and Mother Earth staff are symbols of wealth, fertility, and good fortune, while the flock of ducks that accompanies her represents abundance, prosperity, and fertility. So this just gives so much information if you're looking for kind of the whole animal meanings of within cards, and then the herbal meanings as well. I feel this is great, and you've prompt words as well and meanings, so you know you could journal on the prompt words. And that carries out throughout the whole of the tarot deck, not just the major, also into the minor, which I feel like is such a big thing because sometimes the minors can be overlooked in that sense, the minor arcana. So I'm just doing this all in one take here with the books. So the next one I do want to mention is actually, no, I don't want to show this one yet, is Tarot for Self-Care. And it's how to use tarot to manifest your best self. And I think this is in Lisa Papez's video. And of course, I went off and bought it. I had to. It's gorgeous. I haven't worked out. Look, an old book depository book. I miss book depository. Can they come back now? This is a great one just to dip in and out of. Okay, I don't feel like you need to read the whole thing through if you don't want to. It's a great little reference guidebook. Not so much for, I suppose, the deep meanings of like what the Empress means, but it gives reverse. But what I love about this is it gives self-care card activity. So you have the mind, body, and spirit. So I feel like that is such an important thing. So look, I'll bring it up closer for you. So for the Empress card, the mind, the body, and the spirit. And this goes through, again, the whole tarot deck, which I feel like is such a beautiful way. It's beautiful, simple, and sometimes, you know, you just don't want to overthink it. Okay, and again, I haven't really looked at this book all this much, but I do. It's kind of one of these books that I want to read, but also feel like you can just dip in and out of. It's like opening your third eye. And then I've seen something about crystals here as well. So it's a lovely all-round book. There you go. Enhancing your tarot readings with crystals. So I did want to incorporate that into this book video. And the last one, the fourth book, am I counting right? Gosh, my counting can be a bit off, is Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins. And this is Llewellyn. It's a chunky book, and it's one that I was working in. You can see how far I got. I got to 49, and I find this is a great one. And I must get my hands on Don Michelle's book, but I'm not counting it in this, but I'm just saying that this is where it triggered from, was that this is a great one if you really want to kind of deep dive into a deck. It has so many exercises in this. It goes through, deck themes here, what are the core cards like, the language of tarot, and then you have one card spread. There's just so much. I feel like this is, from what I've worked with, and I want to work with this as well throughout kind of the darker months, because we're all in, so we have more time and things like that I deep dive into, just pick a tarot deck that I really want to dive into. And I feel like this book is going to be a great one to help really delve in to the deck and really get to know it on a much deeper level in that sense. The next one is tree spreads. Now, I don't have any particular spreads, right, that I work with on day-to-day basis, or not even day-to-day basis. I normally just do like the one card draw. I have to admit, I'm going to include it, I do love a 3-card spread. So like past, present, future, or where I am, what's blocking me, where am I going, anything that you can do kind of 3 cards, I'm there for. But and here I go for 3 cards. This is a great one. This is a lovely deck interview that I got with the this little tarot spread was with the Boo Tarot, and it's to interview a deck. Any deck, 3 card, great. I love good 3 card spread. So who are you? The energy of the deck in general. What are your strengths and how we can work together, and what will be the nature of our collaboration? So this is one of the spreads that I would love, I don't always, but I would love to work with decks. And I also check my journals, so that's one. I also love, where is it? I must just check my journal because I do, there we go. Working with ancestors, so any kind of ancestral spread as well. So whispers of your ancestors. Now this is a 7-card one, but you can find ones that are less, and these are the, if you want me to take a picture, my writing isn't the best in this now, to be honest. I'd probably just scribble this down really quick. Anything to do with working with the ancestors, I'm here for. And I'm trying to think what other tarot so yeah, just for example, okay, this is from 2021, but any full moon spread. So this is just an example of one, but like any from 3 to 4, 5 cards max for full moon. I love doing full moon readings. So again, this one only an example. I have 1 second. I was going to my seasonal grimoire that I'm working in. So I have actually this one. So actually this is 6 cards for the full moon that just went by. And here are the prompts. So that is kind of, okay, you can see my page there, but just those kind of spreads for any of the full moons. I do love doing a good deep spread for that. Deep tarot spread for that. And number 2 is the tools that we use in our practice. So mine, of course, would be crystals. I adore incorporating crystals. As you can see, my pendulum has, it's a crystal on the end of it. This is my labradorite. I normally work with amethyst, but again, it depends on the different reading I'm doing or the practice that I'm doing. Here, let me show you this. I love my little pyrite Bulbasaur. I actually won this. So yeah, crystals are one of the tools that I work with. I just love their energy. Each one of them has different energy. They have a different feel to them. And yeah, I could talk about crystals forever, but I feel like this video is very long, so. And the next one, I really want to show this anyway because I just made it, is journals. I love incorporating my journals and making kind of art forms and collage pieces. Like, to me, that is part of my practice. It's not just about writing and journaling and taking note of the readings that I've done, but I love creating little journals. Like this one, I made like a little traveler journal to take with me to on holidays where I'm going, so that I don't have to bring my big whopper of my seasonal grimoire. I can just bring this and I can pop this into my grimoire. It fits. It's a perfect size. I'm actually doing a challenge with Lion's Heart is doing it over on Instagram. But anyway, this is my journal. I made it. It has a little pocket and there's a little pocket at the back, and there's plenty of paper for me to write down all that I need to, and I'm not missing out on the tarot channel challenge. I can't even talk anymore. So that is they would be kind of the main tools that I would work when it comes to my tarot practice or just witchy practice. Journaling is a big part of it, but also the art form of journaling. And the last one is the tarot card that you would love to embody, and I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, but mine would be the High Priestess. It's the one card I actually look for in most tarot decks to see, do I connect with it, because I have this deep connection. I feel this deep connection to the High Priestess. I would love to say it's the Empress or, the High Priestess, because, and I have the guidebook beside me actually, so I hope you don't mind me reading out of it. It's all about standing in self-knowledge, access inner power, honor the sacred self, your intuition. I'm after going off this side because I'm looking at the book. Silence, knowing who you are, blueprint, authenticity, mystery, perfection, divinity. I love this. For me, the High Priestess is all about that divine feminine, that intuition, the mystic, the mystery, the going within, the inner knowledge, the expansion of intuition. Do I need to say any more on top of what I've already said? It is a card that I aspire to be. Will we be all-knowing and all-knowledgeable? No. But can we gain knowledge and expand and become wiser? I want to be that wise old woman in the future, many years from now. I would love to be that High Priestess energy, that I would have all the knowledge to be able to pass on. So that is what I'd love to embody, and I thrive and aspire, and it's where my goals go to. So that is the end of the video. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank you so much if you watched the end, and thank you so much again, Christy, for tagging me in this. Oh, I must tag other people. I was going to tag Magpie Tarot. It's a Tarot Magpie. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sylvie, if you're watching this, that I forgot your YouTube channel, but I know you've done this already. So I am going to tag Maureen from Waves of Your Soul. I love her videos. I love her accent. So Maureen, if you're watching this, hi. I would love you to do this tag because I'd love to see your choices. I would also like to tag Emily over on Emily's Tarot and Witchcraft. I could listen to her talk forever. Again, she's just so knowledgeable and so witchy aesthetics. I mean, honestly, goals. And I'd love to tag Jessica and the Moon. I don't think she'll watch this, but I'd like to tag her all the same. I'm pretty sure more people have, because I feel Jessica has such a broad knowledge as well. So much knowledge on this, the divine feminine and the moon, and she's Jessica and the Moon. So I love watching her videos. So I would love to see her take on this. That would be really cool. And yeah, and I would love to just tag anybody who watches me that I haven't mentioned. I'm really sorry. I would love for you to do it as well, because I would love for everybody to be able to do it, and that we don't just have to tag people. Would that be okay? I hope so. So if you haven't been tagged, then I tag you. You're right. Go for it. And yeah, that is my 54321. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really had such a great time doing this. Again, thank you so much, Christy. I love being tagged. You're the first person to tag me in a video, so I'm really honoured. So thank you. Thanks so much. And yeah, have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I think I said that backwards. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.